Dive 901 on Little Skellig Crawfish Reef in Kerry, Ireland. This was a dive from July 2026 and was part of a week-long expedition by Clidive to the Skellig Islands. The dive site itself is on the northern section of Little Skellig, and this island is famous as being a colony of over 30,000 seabirds. As you can see there, started circling as we approached, and yes, they were shitting on us the entire time we were getting ready to go diving. Started off descending along these walls here. The dive plan was to descend right to the bottom and then make our way up back into the shallows, passing some elephant's ear sponge there. And on the rocky seabed at about 30 meters, we have an edible crab in a crevice here, as well as a flatfish on the underside of this rock right at the back. We ended up in a sort of wide gully with fairly steep walls either side. Here is a pair of female Cuckoo Wrasse, another one there in the background. And then we made our way over to the other side of the gully, had a look along the seabed there. We've got more fish in the crevices there, a cotton spinner, sea cucumber, and a Tompot Blenny. A couple of spiny starfish there, including that very blue coloured one, and another edible crab. Here we have a whole group of spiny starfish. Potentially these had been attracted to eat something, although I couldn't see anything remaining underneath them. A couple more of those Cuckoo Wrasse, as well as the first of many common lobsters we saw on this dive. We spent about 13 minutes at 30 meters and then had to start to shallow up as our no deco time began to run low. There is a male Cuckoo Wrasse there making its way inside a hole. Not sure if it was waiting for me to disappear before it came back out. As we ascended to shallower depths, the wall became more of this sort of mountainous, craggy surface, covered in a variety of boring sponges and dead man's fingers. We found our first crawfish, or spiny lobster, of the dive that the site was named after. This one had lots of little white barnacles around its face, so I think it was quite an old specimen. And as we shallowed up to about 20 meters here, you can see we start to get more of the soft corals, as well as lots of jewel anemones. Here's a group of pink ones that I got in macro. A couple orange ones there as well. An edible crab in a crack in the rock, and on the right, with its head slightly out of shot, is a Portuguese Blenny. And there again, we see another Portuguese Blenny. I don't normally see these in the UK, but they are present in Ireland. Another spiny lobster here. This one was fairly out in the open, raised its tentacles up at me as I approached. And some more deep purple jewel anemones there. There was a slight current at the shallower depths, so here we are drifting past lots of the crags, again very heavily encrusted in soft corals. And as I pan down, you can see the very good visibility we had on this site. That spiral there in the center, I think, is some nudibranch eggs. And again, lots of jewels, a couple dead man's fingers in there as well. We've got a single Pollock making its way up the reef wall on the right there, as well as a couple Ballan Wrasse swimming up and down. Another spiny lobster there, this one sideways on the rock. Again, quite heavily encrusted face. Couple of different anemones there, some daisy anemones and various other soft ones. But we do start to get a bit of kelp as we get to about 15, 20 meters. Common lobster there, that one was quite defensive, stayed near its hole. Again, very colourful dive site, as all of the ones on the Skelligs were. There's my buddy pointing out another common lobster and going in for a closer look. Initially comes over to have a look at the camera and then decides the best of it and scoots away back into its burrow. Final bit of the dive was spent at about 15 meters where there was a bit of sea surge. Quite a couple of nudibranchs on the kelp here, although getting any clear shots of them was difficult in the surge. There's my buddy holding a bit, which I think there's 2 small shrimp on. There we have an edible crab, and to the right of it, another common lobster. We finished up the dive under our DSMB, and after being recovered by the boat, we had a sail around the rest of the island, again seeing all the colony of seabirds, as well as a couple grey seals, which were lying and sunning themselves on the rocks there. We had seen some of the Skellig tour boats do this, so we decided to copy them and get a nice close look at the seals.